One of the most exciting things about being a part of WCPW, apart from getting repeatedly beaten up by Will Ospreay, is seeing wrestlers of all different styles clash in the ring. From high-flying daredevils such as El Ligero and Ricochet to wizards of British technical wrestling like Zack Sabre Jr. and Marty Scurll, we've seen all kinds of competitors step into our squared circle. However, as impressive as more nuanced or agile styles are, sometimes there's nothing that quite matches the visceral thrill of watching one man just pound another man into dust or hoist him halfway across the ring with superhuman ease. WCPW may not quite be the land of giants, as we really do pride ourselves on bringing the best wrestlers in the world under one roof, regardless of size or style, but we've certainly seen our fair share of imposing powerhouses too. Let's take a look at the most powerful men ever to set foot in a WCPW ring. Number 10, Mart Riddle. Now, Mart Riddle perhaps isn't the most obvious candidate for a strongman on the roster, but his power is more evident in his fearsome striking ability. Probably the best striker WCPW has ever seen, Riddle channels his strength and UFC-honed technique into kicks, punches, slaps, elbows, etc., as seen in his fearsome clashes with Cody Rhodes, Marty Scurll, Will Ospreay, and many more. Every time one of our locker room is booked in a match with Riddle, they know that they are in for a fight. Voted 2016's Rookie of the Year by the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the future is certainly bright for the former MMA stud. It's unclear when we'll next see him in a WCPW ring, but rest assured, sparks and fists are sure to fly when he returns. Number 9, Tyler Bate. Most of the wrestlers mentioned in this list are, by the very nature of the term powerful, big, hulking guys. Tyler Bate defies that. He's a man who's relatively small in stature but has immense strength. Bate's Mustache Mountain tag team alongside Trent Seven was one of the most popular, if short-lived, in WCPW history, and Tyler's defining moment was perhaps that unforgettable airplane spin on both Liam Slater and Johnny Moss way back at True Legacy. It's easy from this to see why Tyler went on to become the first ever WWE UK champion. Unfortunately, therefore, it's not clear whether we'll see Bate in a WCPW ring again, but he qualifies for this list by virtue of being a part of WWE's UK division and as a continuing fixture on the UK independent scene as well, as opposed to the regular NXT roster like guys such as Big Damo, who, were he on this list, would certainly have appeared maybe in the top 1. What a terrifying man he is. Number 8, Primate. Some wrestlers on this list are the product of immense discipline and focus. Their muscles are honed by diet, form, strict and careful dedication to the gym. Primate, let's just say, is a far more untamed creature. The current and inaugural WCPW Hardcore Champion's strength is allowed to run wild and untamed in his matches. He slams, spears and decimates opponents with reckless abandon, with rather less thought for technique or proper form than maybe some of our more conventional wrestlers. However, what he lacks in formal training, Primate more than makes up for in sheer ruthless aggression. He's not only one of the strongest roster members in terms of physical strength, but in terms of mental strength as well. Maybe because he literally doesn't know the concept of fear, as demonstrated when he leapt from the O2 Academy fire exit against Joe Coffey, and also in that horrible, gruesome death match with Jimmy Havoc. Number 7, oh no, the prestigious one, Joe Hendry. It's hard to admit, and trust me, I really don't want to admit this, but Joe Hendry isn't just the WCPW champion because of his devious nature and, of course, the backup of his prestige stablemates. He's also, I really don't want to say this, he's also a damn good wrestler, and much of that is to do with his strength. Although more of a technical competitor given his extensive amateur wrestling background, Hendry certainly isn't afraid of using his power to gain an edge over his opponents as well. Just look at his freak of nature fallaway slam, which has been hit on many a larger foe, including that jaw-dropping effort on Big Damo in one of WCPW's earliest shows. Since winning our most coveted championship, Hendry has managed to keep a hold of it by hook or by crook. It's therefore perhaps a little easy to forget that his fearsome strength and power is a big reason for this, as well as his imposing allies. Number 6, War Machine. Yes, they may have only spent a very short amount of time in WCPW, but we just had to include War Machine together on this list. The fearsome Ring of Honor and New Japan regulars made a huge impression when they hit UK shores to defeat the reigning WCPW Tag Team Champions Ospreay and Wainwright and become the tag champs themselves. It's actually difficult to separate the strength of Raymond Rowe and Hansen. Both men are capable of not only throwing their opponents a great distance, but also themselves, moving with incredible agility for men their size. Sometimes they even throw each other. WCPW fans unfamiliar with the pair are in for a treat, but if you fancy learning more about War Machine and you haven't seen too many of their matches, I would strongly recommend their absolute wars against teams such as the Briscoes and the Young Bucks. Destruction does not begin to cover it. Number 5, Moose. Moose. That never gets old, does it? In terms of raw, natural strength, it's really hard to look further than Moose. Not only is the Maryland native one of WCPW's most popular stars, he's also one of the most terrifying in terms of unquestionable power. The ex-NFL offensive lineman is blessed with natural size and strength, and he has used this to his full advantage since entering the world of professional wrestling in just 2014. Simply look at his matches with guys such as Joe Coffey and Drew Galloway for proof of this. As well as being one of the most powerful stars in the WCPW locker room, Moose is also one of the most deceptively agile. Yes, his hulking frame may suggest an uncompromising bruiser, but his agility is something to behold as well. The next time you see him in a WCPW ring, look out for that awesome dropkick, and if he decides to mark a special occasion by heading for the top rope, it would be very wise not to look away. Number 4, Michael Elgin. Were Big Mike a more regular fixture in WCPW, there's a very good chance he'd be nearer the top of this list. The Canadian is one of the most powerful men in all of professional wrestling and has seen considerable success as a result. He's a former Ring of Honor World Champion and a former IWGP Intercontinental Champion over in New Japan as well, and he can mix it with the very best wrestlers in the world. He also made a big impression during WCPW's first show on US soil, State of Emergency in Orlando, gaining considerable support from the crowd, and has also steamrolled his way to the finals of our Pro Wrestling World Cup in the Canadian bracket, dispatching Renee Young. Keep that in, that's a stupid... Renee Dupree, dispatching Renee Dupree and Harry Smith en route. Apologies for that, Renee Young. Number 3, Joe Coffey. The Iron Man isn't simply a nickname for the prestigious resident powerhouse, it's a way of life. Joe Coffey may have revealed a more sinister side over the past few months, but his devious ways have not stopped him from being an uncompromising bruiser in the ring. Few can dish out a beating or chuck an opponent around with quite the ease of Joe Coffey, which helps to explain the numerous scalps he's taken in his time with WCPW, from Primate to Moose to even wily veteran Doug Williams. Like Elgin, Coffey finds himself in the final stages of the Pro Wrestling World Cup, having moved through the Scottish brackets, defeating Liam Thompson and Kenny Williams en route to the final. It will certainly take a damn good wrestler to knock him out of contention. Number 2, Rampage. Many will be surprised that Rampage hasn't topped this list. I'm sorry, Rampage, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me and my family. The fearsome Leeds native has been with WCPW from the very start, originally as Adam Blompier's hired muscle, then as a scorned fan favourite seeking revenge, and he is perhaps the purest brawler in the locker room. A man of immense size and strength, Rampage has left a trail of bodies in his wake over the course of his WCPW career. Just about every man on the roster has felt his wrath, as well as a number of security guards and referees to boot. Who could forget that pile driver back in 2016? But Rampage may have met his match in that jaw-dropping recent encounter with New Japan star Tomohiro Ishii. However, just because Rampage lost that bout doesn't mean his status is diminished in any way. If anything, he actually proved himself even more powerful than anticipated, dishing out an incredible amount of punishment to a very experienced and feared opponent. And number 1, hide everything, it's Johnny Moss. Anybody who's witnessed a Johnny Moss match will be unsurprised to see him top this list. Whether competing in singles action or alongside regular tag partner Liam Slater, the hulking veteran possesses a freakish amount of strength, often hurling 2 or 3 opponents around the ring in a single motion. In terms of WCPW career highlights, Moss's chop-heavy showdown with Trent Seven was something to behold, both men departing the arena with bloodied chests after one of the most grueling matches in company history. The true legacy clash with Mustache Mountain was a similarly jaw-dropping bout, as both mustachioed fan favourites found themselves turned head over heels innumerable times. Moss's power was a key reason he and Slater found themselves the first ever WCPW Tag Team Champions, as well as the recipients of our first ever Tag Team of the Year award. He may be very experienced and may have devoted many years to the wrestling business, but as long as Moss's awesome power remains, he'll always continue to be a force to be reckoned with. So that's our list. We hope you've enjoyed our rundown of the 10 most powerful wrestlers in WCPW. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And have we missed anyone out? Please leave your answers in the comments section below. But for now, I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you soon.